Hello everyone, Blue Star Saber here once again to do another review of Star Wars The Acolyte, Episode 6, Teach and Corrupt. This episode is a follow-up of the last episode, which was, for many people, arguably the best, or the least bad of a bad bunch of the Acolyte. As for those who are probably aware that the Acolyte has not exactly had the most stellar reviews, as you will probably, as I'm about to share screen here, as I normally do for this series. Here we go. We have like the Acolyte here. Well, it might look, let's see, as we see on the IMWB score, we've got 3.5 out of 10. Quick reviews, of course, on Rotten Tomatoes, where we have a 1.5 here on Google reviews. And if we go to of course, Rotten Tomatoes, well, the audience, the critic reviews might be a bit nicer. Let's see, the audience reviews are much more harsher. But anyway, quick bit enough of a recap on that. Last episode at least got some people saying like best episode so far, or at least the best of the bad bunch, where you pretty much had the Master pretty much slaughtering all the Jedi minus Sol and Usher. So yeah, that includes let's see, your and Jakey, which was a bit of a surprise that they actually went that far. Only to and the fact that the Master was revealed to be Quimra, the so far assistant for May. After a bit of an intense fighting, let's see, May swaps places with Osha. Now Sol thinks that May is Osha, while Quimra has now taken Osha, who he realizes that May has swapped places with, and we're about to find out what he is going to do to her in this episode. So anyway, the episode begins pretty much on this island of an unknown planet, which that's what it says in the title, where Osha awakens and where she sees her wounds being dealt with, ends up pretty noticing her surroundings, puts on a bunch of clothes, finds finds a bunch of May's daggers and takes them. And when she exits a cave, she ends up seeing, let's see, this remote island where Quimra's ship is, and decides to walk along the shore, where we see a family of these skura, these sort of like bird-like creatures with sucky-like mouths, if you will. Let's see, as she sees the stranger and starts to follow them, but then we cut back to let's see, Kofa on this planet, where we see where Jedi Master Sol is back on his Jedi transport, taking it to the skies. Tries his hand on the transmitter to contact the Jedi using emergency code 0, trying to report his entire team has been slaughtered, but is unable to get that much of a communication. While you have May walking through the ship, where she finds the ship where she's exploring and then gets a bit of a deja vu when she took that Jedi test all those years ago. Anyway, you have Basil keeping a suspicious eye on her, while Sol's message isn't getting through, despite his attempts to contact Master Fentress Roth on the whole projector, saying how they were much trying to say that the threat is much bigger than they were to realize. But as May is entering the cockpit holding a knife, seemingly ready to try and kill him, but having difficulty with the transponder, Sol has Asha man the ship while he tries to fix it. And as he does, as Sol attempts to do so, he switches on pretty much computers and exits like the cabin. You end up we've seen cut to Basil trying to reactivate Pip, and then doesn't work at first. Then he goes to a bench, and when she finds the right plug, and Pip is reawakened, showing that Pip was not destroyed in the last episode. Ooh, Derpy saying, "Hello there. How was the dog piss that is the Acolyte?" Well, I'm summarizing it now. And how do I? Let's see. But so I'm just giving my summary now, and not really giving my views just yet. But I'll say this episode not as good as last week, but not as bad as say episode 3 and episode 4. I definitely say that this episode is at best okay. I mean, there's some stuff that in this episode that works, but there's definitely stuff in this episode that doesn't work. And anyways, this episode is a bit of a mixed bag. Let's see, I'm just about to try and get into the summary of it all, just to try and see what has been talked about in this episode. I'm not sure if you, Derpy Entertainment, have watched the episode or not, but at the moment, I'd say I'm a bit mixed on this episode. But anyway, the next part of the episode I am trying to discuss is pretty much Osha. Let's see, he's trying to follow, Quimar to like this rocky pool, where he sees her undressed. She notices like he's got a scar on his back. As he goes in the pool to bathe himself, she notices his lightsaber, tries to grab it, ready to use it, but of course, Quimar senses her presence for the Force and asks how does it feel wielding a lightsaber, showing that he senses her presence from a while. Let's see, you get ushered up in the combat stance. He gives her praise about her remembering all the lightsaber techniques, but he gives her pointers where she's a bit sloppy. And then, let's see, asking that if you're not going to join me, can you let him get his clothes on? With Osha still wielding the lightsaber. Let's see, not trusting him, putting it towards him. Let's see, and this is where Quimar sort of taunts her about, okay, you're thinking of on your ethics of like killing him in battle or killing him who's vulnerable for vengeance and all that stuff. And let's see, as Osha saying that, are you reading my mind? But he says, no, it's more of your thoughts betraying you, such as the anger. And while he's dressing, Osha asks why she was brought to this island and asking if she's a prisoner. He says that she's the Quimar says, well, she's the one holding the weapon. And Osha then asks if she killed her master. He says no. Then asks if May is killed. He says no. But seems like, you seem more concerned about your master than your sister. And let's see. And ends up deducing that, let's see, Sol was more than a teacher to Osha. I'm hoping, let's see, and that means father-daughter relationship, if that's what he's implying, because anything else would kind of be creepy. But that's probably it, and I'm probably just thinking too much on it. But or thinking, let's see, perhaps maybe I shouldn't be thinking at all. But then points out how the sort of singularities of the importance of the master-apprentice relationship and the complications that happen for it. Now, granted, let's see. I remember this part of the episode. Let's see, many people were wondering, are they trying to do another Reylo thing? Which I'm hoping not. But I can see why some people made the sort of similarities because of what happened in The Last Jedi with like those Force dyad connections where that one time you had Kylo Ren shirtless. And you're having Ray be uncomfortable saying, could you please put on some clothes and something? But whether or not that is what they're doing, I will talk about that in a bit more later. But anyway, oops, I accidentally turned on my Google. Let me just, anyway, where am I going? Oh, yeah, where am I going? Oh, yeah. Well, as I back to the episode, let's see, back on like the planet Kova, well, pretty much on the ship above Kova, you're getting Sol entering the cockpit, hugging May, believing her to be Osha, thanking him for saving her life, and that goes on about how how the Kremar corrupted her sister, which seems to surprise, I think, May a bit, and about how this Sith really made him question his beliefs, and it believes as a Jedi, and decides that he's going to tell the Jedi Council everything. Which May replies, because I think she's thinking about what happened 16 years ago, and asks if the holoprojector, and when she's about to ask this, the holoprojector activates. You get a Jedi telling him that the Jedi crew that they are ready to transmit, and then once again a power failure happens. Sol gets annoyed, asks May if she can try and restart the ship, and then we cut to the Jedi Temple, which I think was one of the more I see Derpy Entertainment has left. Probably ask pretty much what I pretty much got everything that he wanted to know from the episode, from my thoughts on the episode. But anyway, if he's back later, he's more than welcome to. But anyway, in the Jedi Temple, we get a hologram mission conversation between Isudar Trina, some sort of senator based on that one alien that first appeared on The Force Awakens, and a resistance pilot. I can never tell the name of the species, but think of Cal Kestis' mechanic friend before he was killed. And it's talking to Senate. It's the telling Master Roll that apparently this Senator Rayencourt has apparently. Oh, let me just see if I can. Rayencourt. As far as I can tell, there is no. He has not appeared in anything else. He's just mentioned in this episode. Well, it's yes, Rayencourt has been gathering support for each. Gathered enough support for planning external review on the Jedi Order and their activities, with him warning that his colleagues will vote in favor of an external review in the Order from the Outer Rim, at least. Was concerned about this campaign, that she's using the fear against the Jedi. But Chu Wan ends up showing that the review would most likely come in favor of the Jedi, since they've always been transported to the Galactic Senate. And Trump describes Rayencourt as an ambitious senator trying to grasp for power. But a Jedi Knight it comes in, by the name of Mog Adana, Jedi Padawan. Realizing that the conversation needs to end. Bids the senator farewell as he tells her that they've received a distress call from Master Sol from the Outer Rim territories. Telling Warren asks for status support with, and they're revealing that Sol appears to have lost his entire team. Telling Andor to try and resume communications, but the Padawan ends up saying that they've lost contact. Then Ron orders Andor to prepare a rescue team to travel to Garfa immediately. When Andor asks how does she know where Sol is, as she reveals that she sent him there to the young Jedi Padawan, showing that she knows what's going on. Anyway, as we then cut to the back to the beach where we see Osher and Kromar walking. She's asking questions, saying, "Are you a Jedi in the past?" Which he says that he was, but she's never heard of him. And he goes it was a very long time ago, so it might imply that he's much more older than he looks. And she's confused why she's been brought here, but wondering okay, why does everyone seems interested in you after she seems to think that she's being used as leverage, thinking a master will come, and thinking that her master's strong in the Force, but Kremor says that he disagrees with that about Sol's strength, and that it's actually her strength from the Force that she's probably feeling, and someone ought to teach her to harness that strength. Telling her that you can swim to the vessel or before sundown, or she can wait until the tide goes out, saying that, oh, she has this option if she decides to take the risky chance or just stay here with her. And then just goes to walk, asking if she's hungry. And when she, Asha turns to the ship, maybe thinking about for a moment whether or not she should take up the offer, but decides to continue walking. And then you get May entering room with the giant transport. She's completely curious about what to do with all these devices. Finds Pip charging the power plug. Get Basil behind her, and after doing a few gestures, grabs her leg. Basil stomps on her foot and runs off in a flashlight, showing that he's aware that she's not OSHA. And then you get some engine values shooting at grease at May's face. She's annoyed, squeals a bit, and then grabs Pip, saying her to reset mode, and then finds a droid body to attach his head on, making sure that the droid will seal out the power systems of the ship. As she's figured that, all right, might as well use Pip to help me do my job here. Anyway, then we cut to back to Osher and Quimmer, where they are back in the cave. And she asks about the strength, asks about what you refer to as strength in the Force, saying, you know what I meant. And Osher recalls that the Jedi tend strength and it's something that requires constant training, or else it will fade. With the stranger saying that's what the Jedi say, but that's thinking that's the only way to teach. But there's actually other ways, saying that if the Jedi do it their way, it just fades. As he's making his food in the pot. Going about another way to use it. We're feeling like using powerful emotions such as anger, fear, loss, and desire. But she says, well, that's more of the path to the dark side. And as he just replies that semantics as he's eating. And when Asha tries to confront him about the murdering of her friends, he admits to killing the Jedi that have threatened his existence. Going about how he killed Yord. The stranger says that that same Jedi did not hesitate to turn her in for a crime that she did not commit. And then she goes about how you killed Jackie Lon. He ends up going about how that fight was inevitable and that Asha would have the same relationship with Shaky that she would have her master, which is one-sided. Granted, if you go by the behind the scenes with the actors, it's implied that Jackie had a crush on Asha. I think, I don't know, I found that a bit weird. But saying that she's only, why does she only loves people that can only go so far with attachments or emotions? Offers her food, but she is not really, refuses, even though he goes on about how she has more potential than the Jedi realize. With Asha just trying to say that she's not really her sister and cannot be corrupted as easily. Leaves the cave, and then you get the stranger following her, Quimmer following her, and that, you still have my lightsaber, and that, didn't she stay here to do something? And then there's Asha to stab him with the lightsaber. This is where Asha states that she's a Jedi, does not actually attack the unarmed, but it's like, you still think yourself as a Jedi, despite them rejecting you. But she says she left the Jedi. Then he goes about questioning her motives, and that Asha demands that, he let her go, but she says that he can sense her feelings of pain and anger defining her identity, and says that's why the Jedi threw her away. She tried to say that's not true, and says why she's not a Jedi, going on and on until she shouts that she failed them. Ignites the lightsaber, looking to strike her in anger, but he stops at the last moment. And he says, "Oh, I understand," and that he lost everything, but says the one becomes truly free after they lose everything, and then Usher, after staring him down, withdraws the blade and switching it off. On a sec, I'm just going to do a bit of a quick refill. Oh. Of my drink, as I need to this review is taking a bit longer than I was hoping for. Here we are. Where was I? Yes, the episode. Yes, the episode. Let's see. After the lightsaber drawn, we then get to back to ship as we see Basil moving through the air conducts. Let's see. May notices him from the flying floor, but as before she can do anything, Sol calls her, and she follows to the bunk quarters. And she tells him that she ran a diagnostic of the ship, and she has to restart the systems, which she says will take about 5 minutes. As Sol meditates, regrets not sensing the stranger's true intentions when he first met him and ugly. May says that desire can cloud the person's mind. You can see what they want to see. And May says that the strangle fooled them all. I think this is starting to get Sol starts to realize that perhaps maybe this is not Osher in front of her, and then notice that she found her pip droid, which ends up beeping, and that Osher, you have a very loving relationship with Pip, even though he's a machine. He raises from his bunk and starts going towards her. She says, that's what she's always been like, even when she was little. Sol agrees with the statement. Let's see, May then tries to say she trying to pretend to be May. May tries to pretend to be Osher, saying how she had to lose a lot of herself in order to become a Jedi, even she knows she didn't know at the time. Sol apologizes, promoting May to say how could she feel any other way, and then May asks Sol if he told everything that happened on Brendock, and it says that she was very young at that time, and she says I'm not young every time, and asks him to tell the whole story. But at that moment, the ship comes back on lights, so and this is where at this point before May decides to walk away, as it's Sol realizes that Sol's probably not going to talk at the moment. Then she speaks to Com and asks if anyone can hear her, but which you get Master Roha, but before May can continue, Sol stuns her with a blaster, and followed by Basil, who realizes that what Sol has done. Sol recognizes as May posing as a sister, and then you get Master Roll telling Sol that help is on the way and to leave the transporter on, but he switches it off and activates the hyperdrive, causing the Jedi to transport into the hyperspace. Interestingly, I think I might have actually missed a part of the episode. Oh yeah, I missed a bit where the Jedi on the way to Coruscant, where you have her arriving on the spaceport in a field dress, where she meets up with the Padawan and two other Jedi, a bearded man and a woman from African descent, I would have to say, or a black woman, and that he has not heard from Sol, but the team's ready to part for 20 minutes. In 20 minutes, with him being concerned about for company, since apparently she can get nauseous during hyperspace travel, which she says she doesn't get sick, but finds it unsettling. And wonder if it might. And let's see, the Padawan suggests that perhaps the casualties are due to the planet's uncharted environment. Ra assures him that he does not need to take it personally, and says that she hopes it's all right with him. And the group rescue part out on the ship, so that's what happened there. But anyway, they now have arrived. The Jedi have arrived in the starship and descend on the atmosphere. And when some of them are spoke to the locals, the Padawan tells Master Roroth that an Umbaroth monarchy colony hatched last night. and terrorize the local settlement. And they're wondering if the Jedi were near that colony, that could explain the large number of casualties incurred by Saul's team. Roll steps there as a possible theory. Ross expects that as a possible theory, and the Jedi go down the hill to the jungle below. You get some of the citizens, I think, showing concern of them going there, but they just like continue down anyway. And then we cut to like back at the cave of like Quormos cave. You have Osha finally eating some food while he's repairing damage to his helmet with an electric tool. With Asha asking if the same pitch was made to May, he admits that he made a mistake with May, thinking that she wanted more than just revenge. He says that he thought May wanted what he wanted, with her asking what that was, and he explains that he wanted the power of two, probably hinting, referencing to the rule of two. When Asha asks why he got that scar on his back, saying it was caused by someone that threw him away. She was wondering if it was the his Jai Master that was behind it. But he changes his topic, explaining that his helmet is made of keratosis, or that both its lightsabers are resistant and ideal for serving as material for sensory deprivation headpiece. We'll see with her asking, does it block out all senses? Which he says, well, that's the case, saying it allows one to get closer to force with direction. Offering her to try on the headpiece, but she still doesn't really trust Chroma. But he encourages her to learn to trust herself and walks away, leaving his box and tools and the helmet as Osha then just gazes at the headpiece. And then we cut to like the Fritzy back on Quaffar, where Master Rohan and her party arrive at the shelter of Kenalak, where they find the remains of like Jakey and Yord, and then find the remains of the other Jedi there, and says that deducing that that the stranger pushed them against the Jedi, or like the Padawan says there was like a explosion possibly. Mog saying, the Padawan Mog saying that there's no signs of Osha and May, and they must still be at large, and that their opponent must have been a Jedi, the opponent with a Jedi believes that their opponent was a Jedi fighter, and that he was capable of causing an explosion, taking it on all at once, and must be a very extraordinary Jedi, but skills were erratic, and that their goal was to leave no survivors. You then get an Umber diving in to attack them, but Jedi Master Ro uses a lightsaber whip to kill the creature in half, slicing it. And then she goes like how they were killed by a lightsaber and asks what does it tell them? With the Padawan speculating that it had to be a file for fallen Jedi, and wonder, wait, do you think it's possible that Saul is responsible? With her saying that you're making a very big accusation there, and then but she says like, well, who else would have the power to slay so many Jedi? Which War thinks back about what I think Saul said something to tip the scales. Let's see, but then he get the Padawan on us. Why would send a distress signal for them if he's behind this? But Roll says it's time to get back to the ship, and they should prepare the bodies for funeral. And then we get back to like Saul's Jedi ship, where May is handcuffed, trying to free herself, but she can't. And Saul is like just sitting, keeping an eye on her, telling May that she has no intention of harming her, and that they need to find her master and save Osha. But he says the two of them will need to have a talk, and he says he's think of what he would do with the past 16 years of what he would say to her if they had the opportunity to meet. And Saul tells, of course, May that she's going to listen as a result of this. And in the final scene, we cut to a very quick scene where Osha goes to the Corta's helmet, tries to touching its like marks, and then notices a vein of Cortez nearby. Studying the helmet, she slowly puts it on, breathing deeply, and as she does so, the light sort of fades, and the light slowly fades, ending the episode. So that was mostly the episode. So I guess it's time for my overall thoughts. Let's see. First of all, I do like those little skewer things. I guess they kind of remind me of porks. I'm not sure if they are. Well, let's see. They kind of remind me. Well, not really necessarily porks, because porks look like little fluffy penguins kind of things. These look like more like birds with sucky things. So they don't look exactly like birds, but I guess they kind of remind me of like the porks of like being these native flying species on an island. Perhaps that was what they were trying to do. But I kind of found them kind of cute. And I even found a little wholesome moment where you got like a family of them just cuddling up together throughout sort of like the episode, like the parents with their youngling and all that. So I like that. As I was saying before, I am hoping that this episode is not doing another temptation of Rayla with like Quimar and Asha, because I think there's some concerns I saw some fans saying about when she's spying on him, that when she's taking off his clothes for the bath and all that scene. Now, granted, I'm not sure if Quimar is actually tempting her in a romantic sense, and it's more of just tempting her as to become like master and apprentice. But yeah. But basically, I think all the episode, the highlights of this episode, the stuff of this episode that pretty much work is when you get Asha and Quimra interacting, where pretty much you get Asha just trying to figure out why on earth Quimra is keeping her alive, and Retsi and debating whether or not he should try and kill him. But of course, Quimra, is pretty much sensing of her presence all the time and feels no threat to her. And even just slowly sort of builds into trying to get her to open up and then talk with her, asking her questions, pretty much saying, "Are you going to join me? Are you going to eat? Are you going to," even giving her options of like trying to allow her to kill her or like means of escape, but just pretty much giving her the sense of choice, as you will, and as she sort of slowly just seems to follow him and goes where he goes, asks him questions, and seemingly even considers what he has to say. So you can see that Quimar is slowly tempting her to the dark side, if you will, or at least slowly tempting her, trying to gain her trust. So show that she doesn't so that he can get her to trust him and possibly turn her to the dark side. So I do like all those like little bit of interactions between him and Asha, even allowing her to wield the weapon for like a bit longer. Even so, it's like, you can stab me with it, but she doesn't, because he just keeps listening to what he has to say. Now, I don't think it's going to be a romantic thing. It's just more of like temptation of master and apprentice, as that's what he really wants. Okay, granted, some might find the power of two a bit cringy, but instead of but I suppose it kind of works in the context about the rule of two. The rule of two being like the master and apprentice, and that's when the Sith are truly strong. One to have power, the other to crave it, if you will. It's arguably he's trying to find his own apprentice to continue on the tradition of the rule of two. So we have that bit, but we also learned a little bit of backstory about Quimar, is that apparently he was once a Jedi student, and once a Jedi himself, but feels like apparently that the Jedi rejected him or tossed him aside. And you can see the scars on his back, and even Asha starts to wonder, did his Jedi master do that to him? as it makes her sort of doubt the Jedi a bit. So it's interesting that we got like a Sith warrior that was a part of the Jedi rather than just being a Sith from the start. As far as we know, like the Sith from the last 1,000 years and that did the hiding from the rule of two. As far as I could tell, none of them were like former Jedi. It's with the exception, of course, Count Dooku, Darth Tyrannus, and later Darth Vader with Anakin Skywalker. But that was during like the final stages of like the Sith, final stages of like the Republic, or pretty much the prequel trilogy, if you will, the events of the prequel trilogy. But it seems that we also had a few fallen Jedi that became Sith during this era of like hiding. So we do have that little bit there. Anyway, I do like how let's see, Osha is just like tries to hold the values of a Jedi, but is questions whether or not she's holding the values like about not striking down an unarmed opponent. But it's like Kurma sort of like points out sort of like the okay, so you can kill someone in heat of battle, but not when they're armed, defenseless and unarmed. Betsy thing as it's just Betsy as you just see that as just vengeance, but end up pushing her about the whole her situation with the Jedi, if you will. And eventually she reveals that Betsy lets her emotions out, nearly strikes him, saying that she failed the Jedi, as that's how Osha sort of Betsy personally feels, that she wasn't good enough and she let her emotions cloud her. And that she, in some ways, probably didn't really, that she couldn't really meet the standards of the Jedi. Like, you even see, like, so I do like that aspect. And I do like how you've got Quema and her, particularly arguing about the death of, like, all the Jedi that he killed on, let's see, Kofa, I believe. Yeah, hold on, let me just, yeah, the Kofa. For a second, I kind of forgot the name of the planet. But yeah, of course, points out that it was mostly self. Points out that he can't really have the Jedi finding him out. Let's see. When Osha tries to bring up I do like how he responds that the same Jedi that would just try to arrest you, even though you're not guilty of the crime, which seems to, of course, hurt Osha. And then it goes on about Jackie, who's done no wrong, but kind of points out that regardless of what you kind of thought relationship you had with Jackie, it would have just become one-sided. Using her fact that she can never, her attachments to people can never really match the Jedi's pretty standards, including like the one of her master, Saul, who's more like her father. So I do like that little bit of aspect as well. Other than that, I do like how Chroma just talks about the kurtosis of the helmet. Now, granted, I'm not very familiar with the lore besides that one Darth Vader comic, but I don't know whether or not it literally blocked the senses of like your senses if you end up wearing if you end up certain like bits of it, like for example, the helmet. I mean, that could, as far as I know, that could be lore that's added into like the Acolyte. But I do like how it's like he compares it to like those training masks that allow us to increase our senses in the Force, as he seems to imply that Osha has a lot more potential than she realizes. And this, even though she doubts this because of we learned the Jedi method of learning the Force, if you're not constantly using it, eventually fades over time, which it seems to be the case, which also seems to think to be the case with her. But I do like how Quirma goes like there is alternatives like anger, pain, and hate, or use the dark side, which also points out. But he just tries to dismiss this and tries to spin it in a positive way about being free, especially at the end where he says like, "Oh, I lost everything. It was only then did I find clarity," or something like that. Other than that, let's see. The more mixed bit of the episode, I'd say, is let's see the side plot with Jedi Master Ventress Row, where she's talking with a senator Well, man, I do like how we got a little bit of a conversation with like Jedi and the senators in this episode, as we learn that certain senators are trying to make a big name for themselves and try and have external reviews affecting the Jedi, which does get the Jedi's concerned. But I do like how one of the senators is like, it'll probably just be it'll be shot down, or they won't have anything to Jedi won't have anything to worry about. Granted, the scandal with like Usher and May, if it gets word to light, that could affect the Jedi's public standing, which would be or at least standing with the Senate, which could perhaps lead and tie into what events that of like the Jedi's current relationship with the Galactic Senate during the events of the prequel trilogy, which eventually, with like what the Jedi could and couldn't do that wouldn't be considered treason, led to, of course, Palpatine's rise and framing the Jedi as monsters and villains, executing Order 66. But yeah, but let's see whether or not all the stuff that those senators did had an effect on the Jedi. I'm going to assume probably yes, because of how the Jedi from the prequel trilogy are very different from the High Republic. That could just be more of a fashion choice, but yeah. Either way, that part was fine. Granted, I find this Padawan Murga and Dana to be a bit I guess blander, if you will. I know some people like to have a go at Hayden Christensen for not having the best acting, but I feel like this guy gives him a cake for his money about how bit of a bland voice that he has when he's talking. I mean, okay, he's got some stares right, but frankly, I don't know. I think this character is a bit of an idiot to an extent, but about how he seems to jump to the wrong conclusions. But then again, I suppose it makes sense for him to think like, okay, is it possible that a Jedi Master, let's see, Jedi Master went rogue and killed all the other members of the team here? Not, let's see. No, I don't know why you could think that when, let's see, where you get a Master Forces, that's a very, that's a very huge accusation. But of course gets what was I going to say? But gets pointed out that but of course he does point out that okay, why would Sol contact them? But yeah, other than that, I did like how we got to see the lightsaber whip attacking that one bug-like creature. Though granted, probably would be considered a bit unnecessary. But I think they wanted to show let's see Furnash of Ross's skills. So I think there's that. I do like how when they investigate the bodies of the dead Jedi, this pretty much 100% confirms that all those Jedi are dead. They're not coming back. Including Jakey and Lloyd, they're staying dead. So that is a sigh of relief for those that feel like the deaths of these characters should matter, regardless of how you probably feel about them. But yeah. So I'm glad that they're confirmed dead and they're getting like proper Jedi burial funerals, if you will. So I do like that little aspect. Now, granted, this is the weakest part of the episode, and that is the stuff with Master Sol and May. Mostly because it's like Jedi Master Sol, you should be able to tell that this is May. You should be able to sense it, but he doesn't. Ends up hugging her and all that, but doesn't get suspicious until after a certain period. Let's see, of this period when she's around. I guess that's just like for the sake of the plot, if you will. Particularly like I mean, granted, it's a bit convenient that Sol can't directly contact Jedi Council about what he's encountered a possible Sith Lord because of communications being fairly weak. Which I suppose was probably the best way to explain why he's still alive and not, reporting to the Jedi Council just yet. Because it's like, let's see, how can I when I'm not getting communications? Granted, I do feel like it's a bit of a cheap cop-out, but oh no, let's try, where was I going with this? A bit of a cheap cop-out. Cheap cop-out. Okay, I'm getting tired, sorry. I've forgotten what I was going to say. I should be able to tell that May is pretending to be Usher in the Force and should be able to sense it, but he does not. But he does not actually sense her, even though it should kind of be a bit obvious. I mean, granted, you have Basil, but no, it's not her, and just only just kicks her and not try to point out to Jedi Master So, who should be able to translate. And instead, just busy focus time on fixing Pip, which I will admit, I'm a little disappointed that wasn't a casualty, but I guess it's better than like all the Jedi coming back to life that was killed last episode, because that would be bad. Granted, he ends up getting reset to factory mode, so like the Pip that Osha knows for so long has been pretty much been erased from Pip's memory bank and just standard droid thing. I do like how oh yeah, that's just sort of coincidence of like now I remember the coincidence of the Jedi's communications being busted. I mean, which I suppose that's the only way to really make sense if like Sol's still alive and he can't yet contact the Jedi Council. It's because well the communications are down. But yeah, a bit inconvenient. Granted, I find it a bit annoying that once they're back on and after just giving like fake messages and it looked like he was about told to stay here, this pretty much goes off without telling the Jedi where they've gone. But yeah, I think Sol is just being a bit reckless now when he realized that May is May. But yeah, Basil I feel should have told Sol sooner instead of just like having this sort of like back and forth conversation between Sol. Now, granted, it's a bit touching when he thinks it's like let's see, May is Ursha. Let's see, showing concern for her, what happened to her sister and her master, and about promising to tell her everything, which of course gets me curious because well, she was trying to kill him earlier, but once he blew that, didn't get a chance to do that, ends up asking more and more questions about Sol, and I even like how she sort of. But I do like how she, at the very least, remembers her childhood about taking those Jedi tests. But the moment you get her talking about her master. Let's see, her and Sol talking about her master, about how he didn't see it before, with her saying like perhaps it's just been played sight and you just couldn't really. Sometimes you can't really notice these things. This is what get Sol to notice her. It's to notice that Etsy May is not actually Usha. Granted, I think he should have easily have been able to check like her forehead sooner because like she's got those markings from her covenant. But I think Sol should have pretty much been able to tell that okay, yeah, you're not Usha. Mercy, you're May. What are you gonna do? But yeah, but I think as soon as he like a whole bit with like after some touching moments of May, and then she's cut to this. He immediately goes on ahead. We're not waiting for like the Jedi council or the Jedi backup to arrive, which they make their own conclusions. And one of them is that framing Sol, which I think is a bit like, why would you think that? It's clearly some sort of dark side force user. But and I think Sol has fallen to the dark side, which makes me wonder if Femastra Wrath, Etsy's group does not actually encounter Sol down the line and follow him to like where this master is, but then just come to the conclusion that Sol just pretty much just went rogue and this then falls to the dark side of something, but as a way of like covering up like Quimar's Sith activities as well as May's. But yeah, but at the very least I do like how Sol is like has received restrained May, saying that Etsy won't let him go into their talk, as he just mentions. I do like how he mentions, like, okay, if I ever encounter you again for the last 16 years, I thought really hard about what I was going to say, because let's see. Well, because it would be interesting to see what he actually did, and it's like what happened to the Covenant in episode 3. Granted, it's annoying that it's a teaser here, but at the very least, that he's going to give May some answers. Now, whether or not she's going to like those answers or not, who knows? It could be enough to make her see the error of her ways, and then try to redeem herself with helping find the master with soul. Or it could end up being something that increases her anger further. We'll have to wait and see on that aspect. But yeah. May pretty much should have been easily spotted soon, even though you have like the bang locks on the head. I think Soul should have probably easily sensed her presence a bit more and realized it was not her, but it is what it is. And that aspect, I mean, there were some bits in that I might have liked, but I feel like the negative outweighed the bad on that part. Oh, I was about to try and think of something else. Oh, yeah. But one thing I do like, well, granted, I feel like the bit with Sol and May is like, I'm going to tell you everything, so listen up. That could have been the best way to have a cliffhanger. Instead, they have Oship on the helmet, which I think was a bit quick for my liking. I think it should have been done a bit more slowly as she starts to breathe, but I will admit, she's giving into her first temptations to the dark side now of like trying what he suggested about putting the helmet on and those senses as you rely on the Force. I do like how you got that kind of like aspect shown, but what's the right word to say? What's the right word to say? I'm trying to think. I had the right word a second ago, but then I lost track after talking a bit. Hold on. Oh yeah. But you had May. Let's see. I mean, Osha just put on the helmet, seemingly giving in to temptation, or at least starting to slowly get tempted to more of like try and use the Force again. And it could be that she ends up using her anger, and she could end up being the actual true Acolyte by the end of this episode. But yeah, at the moment, that is just a bit speculative there. But we have no idea what's going to happen. Well, granted, we've so far predicted, and most people pretty much predicted right so far, but we'll have to wait and see. But for now, that's really all I've got to say about the episode. Let's see, the stuff with like Quemar and let's see, Arsha was good, but the stuff with mostly Sol and May was bad because it's like if they're still alive, I'm surprised Quemar isn't trying to hunt them down because they know that he exists, unless he seems to be confident that the survivors will come after him to rescue Arsha. Oh no, we'll have to wait and see. But the stuff with May just doesn't work. And let's see, and that's like and sadly that's like half the episode. But other than that, I think the stuff with Arsha and Quemar was for the most part good or decent, and even got a little bit of that. So never mind. I'm thinking. Yeah, I've just forgotten what I was going to say. So I think it's time for me to wrap up now because I'm getting a bit tired. And I'm forgetting what I'm going to say, and that's not very good. I'm starting to sound like Sleepy Joe Biden, as some people are calling him. But and the problem is I'm not senile, so yeah, I'm going to just now start off with my reviews now. So for those who end up listening, particularly like those Derpy Entertainment at the beginning of this episode, of this review, I hope you liked what I had to say, and I'll see you next time for episode 7. But for now, I am Blue Star Saber, signing off. Goodbye, everyone. May the Force be with you.